Hello and welcome back to another episode of Factorio Tightening the Belt Megabase Guide. I'm Xterminator and thank you for joining me today. We are back at the Covrex processing area because I did make a little mistake here that you guys did point out, and I do thank you for that because it would have ended badly. So what I've done is I've switched this so that now this only is feeding the 238 here on the inside lane, the inside track. And the reason for that is that so these guys can export, because inserters export again to the far side, so it's going to make sure this side, this lane is clear. Before I just had it doing the whole thing and it could have backed up because then these would have nowhere to export. So that was my bad. I didn't remember that I actually needed it to only be on the inside. It's actually been a really long time. It's probably been like a year since I set up a Covrex process. It's been a long time. So this guy's going. We have so far gotten 31, so we need 9 more. We're going to let that still crank away here, and we're going to go set up some stuff for nuclear and see if we can get some beacons going as well, and then start using those beacons. Oh dear. Yeah, there's no way I was going to drive through there nicely at that speed. So the nuclear stuff is really expensive. Pretty much all parts of it are quite expensive. How about we just get out of the car? That might be a good idea. So these guys take a lot of stuff. First off, we have the heat exchangers, and those are 100 copper, 10 pipe, and 10 steel, which are probably one of the cheaper things. You have these heat pipes, which is 10 steel and 20 copper, but I mean they only they're like a pipe in the fact that they only go one tile at a time. So you know, if you need quite a few of these, it adds up. And then we're going to have the reactor, which is the most expensive, requiring 500 of all of those things. And then lastly, the steam turbine, which is just iron gears and pipe, or not iron, copper gears and pipe, sorry. So let's go ahead and start with that stuff. Let's go up to the mall here, and actually have quite a bit of stuff. I'm not sure I really need too much. All right, we'll go here. So where do we want to build these? We could build them by the mall. Again, though, the problem is we don't actually have red circuits over here. So we would have to either bot them or route another belt up, which would be really awkward. We could bot them. We could run a bot network kind of down here. But I think there's probably a better solution. We can really just kind of do it at the end here. We have most of these materials somewhere around this area. I mean, we could even do it like right over here. Because we actually have the majority of those materials. Now, of course, that would require, it would mean that we couldn't expand the electric furnaces too much further, but I mean, I would do it over here, leave some room for expansion. But we have other stuff, because we have steel here, we have red circuits here, there's iron, which I wouldn't want to just pull it off of this, but let's see if there is some other way to get iron in. I mean, it's kind of bootstrap. I'm still not convinced if that's the best idea ever. I mean, really, it's just like iron. The concrete is going to have to be hand-fed for now, because doing concrete way down here is not going to be great. Pulling iron off of here normally is not something I'd like to do. However, like I said, it's not like another science, right? It's not something that's going to be running 100% of the time. So I think it's probably fine, actually, to do this. In this particular case. So let's go that's going to be iron. Let's take some assemblers, and we're just going to do one for each. You know, they don't take too terribly long to actually make, and it's not like we'd have the materials to support more than one for each anyway. So first off, let's go ahead and plop this guy here, and we'll start with the reactor. Most important part, none of it will work without it. And we need to get concrete, which again I will walk over here, and then steel, advanced circuits, and copper. So copper, we do have copper here. I could split some off potentially, or just wrap it around. Probably wrapping it around so that the science still gets it first would be a good idea. Okay, so let's get the red circuits, and what we're going to do actually is, because we don't need brick. Now we have brick here, so we could do concrete, except we would also need iron ore and water, neither of which are anywhere near here. We do have iron ore here. But making brick just for this to make like a couple reactors, I don't think is really worth it, honestly. Okay, so we're going to do that, and we're just going to filter output this way, and you're only going to do iron again because we don't want the brick. And we're actually going to, we're going to reverse that. I changed my mind. Because what we want is we want a belt here. I'm going to merge these just for to save space, really. Right, so that's going to be our iron and advanced circuits, or steel. I keep saying iron. And then we need copper, which can come over from here. So he can just kind of come over this way. And pretty much the heat exchangers as well as the heat pipes will also need copper. Actually, everything needs copper. So what we can do then is, how about we don't turn it quite there? We're going to have it come in the opposite direction. It's a little weird because it's going to like loop back around, but that should be fine. Let's make sure we connect that. And we actually probably want some stack inserters for this because this is a lot of material. So you go there, and then copper could actually go this way. So there's that, that, and that. So this guy is going to be, let's just say, heat exchangers. Let me look at this here for a second. Yeah, I don't think it really matters which order we do these in. And then he's going to go like that, and you need, all these do need steel except this one. So actually, I didn't have to pick that up, but let's go ahead and switch these around. So you do need steel, and then this one does not. So then we can just bring the steel to here. And I think I will do that, and then import, and copper here, here, and here. And then we're going to have to somehow get iron and all that, or gears and pipe, which might be interesting. This is the one that takes gears and pipe. This one takes just pipe. So I'm changing, changing my mind yet again. We're going to swap these because I have a plan. All right, so what we actually want to do then is do this, do this, and this is going to be gears and pipes on this one. This is going to be copper, and then the output can be pretty much just anywhere into boxes. We don't need them on a belt. Actually, I don't know what I'm doing. Wooden, doesn't really matter. And for this, I think we're just going to set some, excuse me, we're going to set some circuit conditions on these, because we could hard limit it again, like I've mentioned, but you know, these, I don't really need a whole stack of some of this stuff. So we're probably going to use certain conditions. All right, so the copper's over here. Let's bring him over. Like that. Make some undergrounds. Like so. This autosave is always when I don't want it. Okay, so there's a copper. That's grabbing. We do need some power down here. These power poles are not going to look great. So that takes care of that. Then he just needs this stuff, which really could, we're gonna do something that is maybe not great. Alright, let's bring this guy up here. So he's gonna do pipe, and you're gonna do gears. And we're giving gears iron first because they take more iron, and you're gonna output like that. Come down. Like that. Come over. Perfect. And then we just need some power poles. Like so. And just to run this belt. Like I said, typically I would advise against doing something like this, but this is not gonna run very much. So having it do this is probably okay. Of course, this is eating all the steel, but that's to be expected. So we are going to circuit condition this one. Now we could do robot conditions. Again, though, we don't have a network down here quite yet. Once we do get a network down here, I will switch it over. But we're just going to wire here. So just wiring from this to this, and we're just going to say you can work if reactors, if I can find them, reactors are less than 1. So we only want 1 for right now, because that will actually get us quite a ways. And then these guys, we could do a whole stack. This one, I don't recall what these stack to. I think it's 50. We probably don't need 50 right off the bat. So let's go ahead and wire him as well as him. I'm trying to remember what this stacks to. I want to say 10. So actually we probably could do a stack. But this one we certainly don't need a stack. Let's just say, let's go ahead and do heat exchanger less than, say, like 15. He's gonna go, once this gets all the steel it wants, it's taking double the amount, right? Because it wants to fill up 2 times the recipe amount. But once it does do that, then the rest should move on to here. And then he'll take the red circuits, which this already, oh wait, this doesn't need red circuits. Oh no, right, okay, so I'm just setting the steel down there. Okay, so he should stop grabbing the steel, this should get steel, and that should be good to go. All right, so we've got that. Now let's do some beacons. Beacons are something we will want to automate. Copper cable, red circuits and green circuits, again, not something I'm super thrilled about in terms of where to put this and how to do it. We have red circuits here, green circuits, actually we have red and green right here, and copper. And then steel. Steel could be a little bit difficult. This could actually work. Let's do a little bootstrap thing here. Again, once we get bots like working a little more, we can do things a little more effectively. And also, once I need more beacons. For now, though, we really don't need many beacons. It's kind of in a weird spot where it's enough beacons for me to want to put them in assemblers and not handcraft them, but it's not enough to where I need to do like a full-blown, you know, setup that's not just kind of thrown together. So that's going to be cable, and he's just going to directly insert, and he's going to go like that, and we're going to take a splitter, just so I don't like randomly have to weave the belt down. And you're going to do that, and then you just need these, so these can just come along here. Uh-oh. That's not good. Here, and then the steel. This does only take 10 steel, and like I said, we don't need a ton of these. I really could dump some of this in by hand. I'm saying if there is a decent way to get steel down here without just making a horrible mess, and it doesn't really look like it. So I think, yeah, we're just gonna grab and export. So this is gonna be steel. I'll dump all that I have in there now. We'll go get another load, and we're out of power poles because we have no steel. Oh, yeah, that I did just do that. Okay, so here, and that should power all of that perfectly. He's gonna do that, he's gonna do that, and this should be good to go. This we will cap to like a stack for now. They stack in 10. We may want 2 stacks, we'll have to see. All right, so let's go grab some steel just like right here, just so I can fill it up a bit more. And then we will need to go grab the concrete for this guy to finish. And this should definitely put a drain on our red circuits and pretty much everything that those take. It's very material intensive, this nuclear, but it's worth it. Okay, so beacons should be chugging along here nicely. We'll go get the concrete, come back down, grab the beacons, and then we'll go up and place them down, and I'll kind of explain how they work. And probably next episode we'll get nuclear set up, because hopefully by then Covrex process will have started. We will have the materials we need, and also I will be a bit more with it. I just drove back from visiting my parents, and I'm actually feeling fairly sick, so I'm not entirely with it. That's probably why I'm making some of these mistakes, but I don't think I'm quite in the condition to be explaining nuclear power at the moment. So these guys, some of them are getting left behind because they're silly. And they're building stuff I don't want them to. I keep forgetting to take these out, but then when I want them, they're not going to be there. All right, so we've got that. Here's the concrete. I did refill it, so there should be quite a lot. There is indeed. I'll just grab everything I can. We only need enough again for 1 reactor. That will do a fair bit. You'll see once I start kind of explaining how the nuclear works and the ratios and stuff and power output, that even 1 reactor and all the components to go with that ratio-wise will actually give us probably more power than we're even doing right now, potentially. So let's run back down here. Really though, I am very happy with how the resources are keeping up in the base. And this will just feed, you can just directly insert it in there. So it took the 500 and then there's 360 left. And I'm actually going to turn this inserter because I just don't want any more right now. We could do a wire condition. And actually, we could, just to demonstrate, I could do a wire condition. So if we just do that, and that, this guy is on the same exact condition as this one, so now that there is one in here, he will not work either, and I could just do the same here, and then those just will stop. Okay, so that's that. Sweet, we do have those parts, and this guy was not working. Oh right, I did forget an inserter here. So we actually have these parts. They should be pretty much ready, but like I said, I'm not quite with it enough to explain it. But what we can do is the beacons. So we have 7 beacons. These have stopped because they haven't. They're just really slow. Let's just throw some speed modules in there for the heck of it. 8 of these, that should be enough to start with. And we only have the level 1 speeds. We do have level 2s we can make. These do require blue circuits and 4 of the previous. So you'll notice with the modules, they do require the previous level. So when you do set to automate these, you will need to make sure that you have the like previous levels set up and automated to go into them. All right, let's walk up here. And I believe, off the top of my head, I believe these ratios for the modules, for getting to level 3 modules, which I will explain more and will make more sense when we do that, but the ratios for that, I believe, is 10-5-2, meaning 10 speed module machine 1, or not speed necessarily, but 10 module 1 machines feeding into 5 level 2 machine, or module 2 machines into 2 module 3 machines to get the ratio right. So this is going, has he got any more? He has gotten 4 more. We're actually quite close. So to beacons, how do beacons work? Well, first off, transmits the effects of modules to nearby friendly entities. So this is kind of an AoE effect for modules, which you obviously cannot do before beacons. You know, they're in here, but they're only affecting this machine. So if we want to have more effectiveness than this, you know, of course, these are only level 1s. I could put a level 3 of each, but then it's still just capped by the module slots. We can greatly increase this by using beacons. So I take this out, and you see that there is a coverage area there. And this is the area that anything in this orangish yellow area will be affected by this beacon's effect. So the cool thing about these is currently, and I say currently because for all we know this could change in the future, but currently they stack in regards to like their effects, obviously not physically, but like if you overlap the areas, they will all apply. So if we do this, and I'm sticking it right on the corner here, and you can see that white hitbox is indicating that I am hitting that machine. You know, it'll show any I'm hitting. And that's actually interesting that it shows for the train too, which really doesn't make sense because the trains aren't affected by beacons. But anyway, we're putting it here on the edge just so we can fit in as many as possible, right? If I were to start this like here, it'd be kind of awkward because you couldn't get as many on. So let's do this. Now beacons, you can see down there, distribution efficiency 0.5. And what this means is that any modules you put in here, this beacon's only going to essentially give an effectiveness of 50% of whatever that is. So in this case, if we put 2 speed module 1s in here, they each are 20%. So 2 would be 40%, right? So there's 40% speed increase in this beacon, but it's only going to output half of that, which is 20. You can see down there, speed 20%. This is the amount it's actually going to output in its affected area. And you can see there's other info too. Energy consumption plus 50%, number of effect receivers 1, right? We're only doing 1. And then here you can see number of effect sources. So this can get a little confusing if you're not like used to it on how it counts this. Effect sources count the modules in the machine, so that's why it's 3. 1, 2, 3, and it does not count the number of modules in the beacon, to my knowledge. Well, let's test. So if we take one out, it doesn't change, right? So it doesn't count the modules in the beacon, it just counts the beacon itself as 1, and then the modules in itself. So if we do this, and we call this kind of staggering rather than like lining them up, you know, visually, if you like it better lining up, and don't really care for it to be the most efficient speed-wise or whatever, then this is totally fine. But I like to do this because this allows you to get the most possible coverage on here. And if you see us put this here, you can see now number of effect source is 6 because it's being hit by 2 modules in here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, which, you know, 2 plus 4 is 6. And if we were to mirror on top, that would then be 12. Or, sorry, not 12, 10, because 4 plus 8 plus a 2 in here. Now, another very important note, you cannot put productivity modules in beacons. This may throw some people off, but as you can imagine, it would probably get a little bit overpowered. Beacons are already incredibly strong, so you cannot put productivity modules in beacons. You can obviously put speeds, and you can put efficiencies as well. Okay, so this is not on. These are not on. So it's showing the effect sources, but it's not actually showing the speed increase because these are not powered. So if we look here, crafting speed 0.78, typically it's 0.75. It's plus 5%. However, if we power this on, this is going to quite significantly increase. And this is only speed module once, remember, and only half beacon, meaning we haven't done the top. You can see here it's now an 85% increase, 1.38. And if you watch this, compared to this one, well, this one's not, this one's beacon 2. Compared to like this one, you can definitely see a difference, right? Speed this one is moving compared to the speed of one of these. Okay, and again, that's only level 1 modules, and then up here, you would do the same thing. However, another very important thing to keep track of is this power usage, this energy consumption. You remember these energy consumption plus 50%? Well, look at this energy consumption, 664 kilowatts plus 90%, opposed to 1.3 megawatts for one of these is 290%. Okay. So if we click here, it's actually kind of, I believe it's like counting the beacons. Well, it's counting the beacons as well. So we have these beacons here, and you can see they're already 5th on the power graph, taking 2.3 megawatts, and then these are taking 5.2. So if we were to say, if we were to take these out, right? Here's a very important note. We took those out, and the power consumption went down for this, right? But the power consumption did not go down for the beacons, okay? The beacons have a steady energy consumption of 480 kilowatts, okay? So it doesn't matter if there's modules in them or not, which is an important note, because if you just like place beacons down ahead of time, you know, and don't plan to do modules for like another hour or something, you know, do keep in mind that they're still taking a fair amount of power. They're still 5th on our energy graph. Whereas this energy consumption went down from, what was it, like 5.2 to 4? So that is a very important note there. And you can see how powerful this is, because those are only level 1s. Level 3 speed modules give a 50% speed increase. So with 2 in here, that's 100% speed increase that's in the beacon, but it's only going to transmit half of that. So each beacon is giving a 50% speed increase to the machines it's hitting. And then on top of that, the power is going to just be kind of through the roof. I mean, this is 70% energy consumption opposed to the 50%. So not too much, but it does add up. Okay, so that's how the beacons work. For now, until we get more of this, I am going to beacon these just to speed them up and kind of get more things going. We will want to move these to the Covrex thing once it gets started. For now, we're going to beacon these. I'm going to go get some more beacons. And the power, I mean, you can see the power is increasing quite a lot. It's now up to 7.2 megawatts, almost equal to our 26 radars. Radars can be very deceiving how much energy they take. But that should definitely kick that up faster. And by being faster, right, it just means it's going through the cycles quicker, processing more uranium, which means, you know, having a more of a chance or reducing the time it takes to get the 235 that we need. So let's run down and get some more beacons, and we should be pretty much good to go at that point. And then the nuclear stuff should be about done. This guy's still cranking away, but everything else is ready for next episode. So we have our reactor, we have 50 heat pipes, we have 15 of these, and we're about to have 20 of these. Okay, now this guy is out of steel. We have 10 more beacons. I'm going to dump the rest of my steel in it. Well, not that chest. Wrong chest. That's the steel in there, and then we'll just grab some more on the way and run these back up and finish our beaconing. So when you do use beacons, you do want to be very cautious of your power usage. Make sure you have more than enough and such, because it can quickly get out of hand. Now, you'll see later on that the beacons are essentially what make Megabase possible at any reasonable game performance or UPS, which we talked about in a previous episode. Because these level 3 machines is what we'll be using. These level 3 machines can take 4 modules. Okay, they have 4 module slots. So if you fill these, so for like science or something, right? Or I guess a better example would be like green circuits or red circuits, is you fill these with productivity 3 modules. Okay, and productivity 3s give you a 10% productivity each. So each machine has a 30% productivity, and then if you beacon it like this with level 3 speed modules plus the 4 in there, you are just cranking out a massive amount of resources very quickly. Okay, but of course it's going to take a huge amount of power and eat a ton of resources, but they're extremely powerful. It does get tricky with belts. It's a lot easier to do beacon setups with bots because, you know, you just have a chest or 2 chests, you know, requester and provider here. You don't need to weave belts in between, so this is going to get a little bit complicated, but it will definitely be interesting for sure. So this is processing. Did we get any more? We did get 1 more, so we only need 4 from this point, and I think I'm going to call it here, guys. 26 minutes. Like I said, I am not feeling great. I should go get some rest, and we'll let this chug along off camera until we get to 40, and I'll try to stop it before it actually like starts itself or does more than 1 cycle, so I can show you. But then we should be in good shape. So that'll do it. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and it was helpful. If you have any questions or anything else, leave them down below. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you all, and do take care.